Welcome to this training created by the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services and Dartmouth Geisel School of Medicine. Today's training topic is reducing chemical exposures in your daily life. My name is Megan Romano, and I'm an associate professor of epidemiology at the Geisel School of Medicine. My primary areas of expertise are environmental health and perinatal epidemiology. I'm excited to share with you today this approximately 30-minute training on reducing chemical exposures in your daily life. Today you will learn how to improve indoor air quality in your home and reduce exposure to dust in your home, how to test the safety of your household drinking water and make safer food choices, and how to avoid harmful chemicals in common consumer and personal care products. I encourage you to take a moment to pull up the resource guide associated with this training so that you can access additional resources and web links for each of the topics we cover today that may be of deeper interest to you. Why are we starting out with a focus on indoor environments? People in the United States spend more than 90% of their time inside their homes, schools, offices, and cars. Household items like electronics, furniture, personal care products, cleaning products, flooring, and other building materials all shed chemicals that end up in the air and dust in indoor spaces. Environmental contaminants in air and dust can enter our bodies when we breathe, touch contaminated surfaces, or touch our mouth or face with dusty hands. Some of these chemicals may contribute to health problems, but luckily, there are lots of steps that we can take to prevent or reduce exposure to these environmental contaminants. We will begin by discussing environmental allergens. An allergic response, also known as an allergic reaction, is a complex and often exaggerated defensive reaction by the immune system to substances that are usually harmless to most people. These substances are called allergens. Allergens are usually tiny things that you cannot see, like dust, pollen from plants, pet dander, or even some foods. Today, we are discussing environmental allergens like pollen, dust mites, and pet dander. When someone is allergic to an allergen, their body thinks it's a bad thing, so it tries to fight it off. This can cause things like sneezing, runny noses, itchy skin or eyes, or even more serious problems like swelling or anaphylaxis in some cases. Because an allergen is like a trigger that makes some people's bodies act up and feel sick, it is important to know which allergens members of your household may be sensitive to, and then to educate yourself as to where these are commonly found. Considering some common environmental allergens, if you're thinking about pollen, check pollen forecasts and stay indoors on high pollen days. Keep windows closed, use air purifiers, which we'll discuss more later, and consider wearing a mask when doing outdoor activities. Shower and change your clothes after spending time outdoors. Next up is dust mites. If someone in your home is allergic to dust mites, use allergen-proof covers on pillows and mattresses. Wash bedding regularly in hot water and vacuum with a high-efficiency filter. Pet allergens. If you're allergic to pets, create pet-free zones in your home, bathe and groom your pet regularly, and use high-efficiency air purifiers. We'll talk a bit more about mold in a moment. Research suggests that environmental tobacco smoke may make people more likely to develop asthma or have more serious asthma symptoms, especially among school-aged children and adults. Many people are allergic to the saliva, waste, and body parts of cockroaches, which can become airborne when cockroaches are present in the home. Maintaining a clean home, reducing clutter, and storing both food and trash properly can help to avoid infestations. When cockroaches are present, sealing entry points, repairing leaks, and removing other sources of water, and perhaps engaging a professional pest control service may be necessary. If you have severe allergies, create an emergency action plan with your doctor. Ensure that you and your close contacts know how to use an epinephrine injector, such as an EpiPen, if necessary. It is also helpful to regularly consult with your allergist to monitor your allergies and discuss any new developments or treatments. Remember that allergies can vary in severity and individual responses to allergens differ. Consult with a healthcare professional or allergist for personalized guidance and treatment options. Molds are everywhere in nature where there is water and air. Outside, mold plays an important role in nature, breaking down things like dead leaves and trees, but indoors, it's best to prevent growth of mold. Some people may be allergic to specific types of mold, but unlike other allergens, some types of mold, such as toxic black mold, will make most people sick if they are exposed. The severity of health effects related to mold exposure varies substantially, but indoors it is best to prevent the growth of mold and to remediate promptly if mold is found in your home. Excess moisture is typically the cause of mold inside of homes. Promptly fix plumbing leaks and address other water problems in the home. Scrub mold off hard surfaces using detergent and water, then dry completely. If you have absorbent items in the home that cannot be laundered and dried, then these will need to be disposed of. If there is considerable visible mold growing inside your HVAC system, consider having the air ducts in your home professionally cleaned. If the mold problem is substantial, then professional cleanup may be needed. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency has a great website for advice on mold cleanup and remediation, including what to do when mold occurs after a flooding event. Radon is a radioactive gas that can cause cancer. It is invisible and tasteless. Radon is measured by its radioactivity in picocuries per liter. Radon can be present in either air or water and seeps into homes through pipes, cracks, and crevices. To reduce your potential exposure, first, you must test to know whether radon is present in your home. It is important to test in basements, ground level spaces, and in your water. New Hampshire residents can request a free radon test using the link in the lower right-hand corner of the screen. If air levels are above the 4 picocuries per liter action level, then installation of radon mitigation systems will be necessary. This work must be completed by a nationally certified radon professional. The radon program at the New Hampshire Department of Health and Human Services can provide current information about grants or loans currently available to help offset the cost of a radon mitigation system if you find that one needs to be installed in your home. Radon mitigation systems generally require very little maintenance, but components such as fans may need to be replaced every 10 to 15 years. Many New Hampshire residents burn wood for home heating during the winter months. When wood and other organic matter burns, both gases and extremely small particles are found in the smoke. These fine particles, also called particulate matter or PM, are small enough to enter the lungs, where they may cause respiratory diseases or distress. PM may also aggravate existing chronic heart and lung diseases, such as bronchitis, pneumonia, asthma, or other serious respiratory diseases. To reduce the production of PM when burning wood, first, only use an EPA-certified wood stove. Second, burning dry firewood saves money and improves air quality, so season firewood for at least 6 months before burning. Third, do not burn household trash, coated, painted, or pressure-treated wood, driftwood, plywood, particle board, or wood with glue or varnish on it. Avoid wet, rotted, diseased, or moldy wood. Essentially, only burn well-seasoned firewood. Finally, Visit the EPA's BurnWise website for more information and tips. High-efficiency particulate air filter, or HEPA filter, is a pleated mechanical filter that is capable of removing at least 99.97% of dust, pollen, mold, bacteria, viruses, and any airborne particles with a size of 0.3 microns. For reference, a micron is a unit of length in the metric system that is 1/1,000,000th of a meter, and a strand of human hair is about 50 to 100 microns in diameter. So 0.3 microns is incredibly small. HEPA filters capture particles that are larger than 0.3 microns with even greater efficiency. Using HEPA filters in your home helps to improve the quality of your household's air. In addition to reducing PM, HEPA filters also effectively reduce or eliminate many environmental allergens in your home, including pollen and pet dander. They also remove many types of mold, bacteria, and viruses from indoor air. HEPA filters are particularly effective when combined with efforts to remove sources of PM, allergens, mold, and infectious agents from your home. A Corsi Rosenthal box is an effective do-it-yourself alternative to expensive HEPA air purifiers. These simple cube-shaped air filtration devices are built using 4 minimum efficiency reporting values, or MERV 13 filters, duct tape, a 20-inch box fan, and a cardboard box. MERVs describe a filter's ability to capture larger particles between 0.3 and 10 microns, and the higher the MERV rating, the better the filter is at capturing specific types of particles. Corsi Rosenthal boxes have been demonstrated to mitigate COVID-19 transmission and reduce certain indoor air pollutants, such as per and polyfluoroalkyl substances and phthalates. Depending on the frequency of use and the amount of dust and particles in the environment, filters will need to be regularly replaced to maintain optimal air quality, regardless of whether you're using a commercial air filter or a homemade Corsi Rosenthal box. Improving the indoor air quality in your home is one of the highest impact things you can do to improve the health of you and your family. Most people are already familiar with the serious health effects caused by exposure to the toxic metal lead. Homes and apartments built before 1978 may contain lead paint, and about half of the residences in New Hampshire were built prior to this date. Lead exposure risks can emerge from deteriorated lead-based paint, including situations where the paint is peeling, chipping, chalking, or cracking. Additionally, lead-based paints on surfaces like windows and doors, which may undergo friction or impact, can pose hazards. Another concerning scenario is lead-based paint found on surfaces that could be chewed on by children, such as windowsills. In older homes, there's also potential presence of lead pipes and lead-contaminated soil in proximity to residences that may have historically had lead paint on their exterior. It's important to note that lead poisoning in young children is entirely preventable. Nevertheless, lead paint continues to be the primary source of lead poisoning in New Hampshire. An estimated 65,000 children in the state currently have elevated blood lead levels, which can negatively impact their cognitive functions, concentration, and learning abilities. Sellers are legally obligated to disclose information on lead-based paint hazards, and landlords must also disclose known information on lead-based paint. However, it is always good to ask in order to understand how much testing has been done at a residence, especially if there will be children under 3 years of age living in the home. Renovations, repairs, or painting in homes built before 1978 may expose previously undisturbed lead paint. Having your home checked for lead-based paint prior to renovations, or hiring EPA or state-approved lead-safe certified renovation firms is prudent if you're unsure whether there may be lead paint in your older home. Keeping painted surfaces in good condition, free from peeling and cracks, helps to minimize deterioration. You should not try to remove lead paint by yourself. Housing and urban development grants and loan programs are available in New Hampshire to assist property owners with the cost of lead abatement. Per and polyfluoroalkyl substances, or PFAS, are unfortunately present in many of the stain and water-resistant products we use every day. PFAS are associated with a range of health effects, including thyroid disorders, increased cholesterol, high blood pressure among pregnant people, and even kidney cancer. Choose products that don't have stain or water-resistant treatments, or use PFAS Central to identify products made without PFAS. Next, we will transition to discussing dust in the home environment. Dust is composed of very small particles suspended in air that may settle on surfaces throughout the home. Soil tracked into the home from the outdoors can increase dust and contaminants throughout our homes. Environmental contaminants may stick to the dust and soil particles. In order to prevent or remove dust in the home, avoid tracking soil into the home by wiping and removing shoes before entering the home, and have a no-shoe policy indoors. Placing dust mats both inside and outside of entryways also reduces dust and soil tracked into the home. To remove dust from the home, it is best to pick up dust with a damp cloth or use a vacuum with a HEPA filter to remove dust rather than redistributing it within the home. A properly sealed HEPA vacuum prevents particles from escaping. This removes more dust, dust mites, mold, spores, and other allergens from the air than dry dusting or a non-HEPA filter vacuum. We will focus on steps you can take to make safer choices about drinking water and your diet. Slightly more than half of people who live in New Hampshire get their household water from a public water system. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency defines a public water system as one that serves 25 or more people, and these are regulated by both state and federal Safe Drinking Water Acts. The source of public drinking water may be lakes, rivers, or wells, and the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services Drinking Water and Groundwater Bureau is responsible for protecting public health by ensuring safe and reliable drinking water. In New Hampshire, naturally occurring drinking water contaminants include radon, arsenic, manganese, and other less common contaminants. Human-made contaminants such as per and polyfluoroalkyl substances, or PFAS, may also be found in water in New Hampshire. However, public drinking water systems regularly test for these and other contaminants as regulated by state and federal law. This regular testing is conducted by public drinking water utilities to maintain a safe supply of clean water for drinking. A summary is provided annually to households on a public water system that you may view if you have specific concerns about your drinking water. Half of New Hampshire households get their water from a private drinking water source, such as a drilled well, dug well, spring, or surface water sources. Private water systems are unregulated, making it the responsibility of homeowners to conduct regular testing of private water sources to ensure safety. The New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services recommends that private well owners test their well water every 3 to 5 years for pollutants commonly found in New Hampshire. Recommended tests include the Standard Analysis Plus, VOCs, and PFAS. For dug wells reaching into bedrock, testing for radon is also recommended. It is also prudent to test more frequently in heavily developed areas where hazardous chemicals may be handled. Following well construction or repairs, in the event you notice changes to the taste, smell, or appearance of the water, or if rock blasting is occurring near the well. Repeating testing more frequently is also recommended if high levels of any contaminant are found. Eating a balanced and healthy diet is critical for overall health and well-being. As you may have gathered, diet can be a source of many chemical contaminants, but luckily, there are many steps you can take to make safer food choices. Certain foods undergo extensive processing, and these are called highly processed or ultra-processed foods. These foods typically contain a lot of sugar, salt, fats, artificial colors, and preservatives. Moreover, they might include additives like artificial flavors and colors or stabilizing agents, and are likely to come in some form of plastic or canned food packaging. These may contain phthalates, bisphenol A, or other chemicals of concern. Some examples of these foods include frozen meals, soft drinks, hot dogs, cold cuts, fast food items, prepackaged cookies, cakes, and salty snacks. You can cook meals at home to avoid takeout containers and wrappers and choose whole foods in their natural unprocessed state, like fresh fruits and vegetables, whole grains, or nuts and seeds to reduce your exposure to chemicals found in food packaging. Because organic produce is grown using fewer chemical pesticides than many traditional agricultural methods, choosing organic food, including produce, meat, and dairy, may help to limit your exposure to pesticides. The Environmental Working Group releases free consumer guides for safer produce each year called the Dirty Dozen and Clean 15. For items on the Dirty Dozen, produce grown via traditional methods may have more pesticides than those grown by organic methods, while items on the Clean 15 tend not to contain chemical pesticides regardless of the growing methods that are used. This allows you to prioritize the purchase of organic items for specific produce where you will reap the greatest benefit in pesticide exposure reduction. If organic produce is too expensive or otherwise unavailable to you, then mixing up the variety of produce that you consume and where you purchase your produce from will also help to reduce your exposure to both natural and human-made contaminants. Fish and shellfish are low-fat and good sources of protein and nutrients. However, mercury and other contaminants may also be present in fish, making it prudent to limit consumption within guidelines from reputable health agencies such as the US EPA, US FDA, and New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services, which all provide guidance on safe fish consumption. New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services provides water body specific advisories that are especially helpful if you regularly consume fish or shellfish caught in New Hampshire waters. Limiting exposure to mercury and other potential contaminants in seafood is especially important for pregnant and nursing people, as well as children. Food storage containers or water bottles made of glass or stainless steel help you avoid unwanted chemical exposure from plastics. Also avoid microwaving food in plastic containers. Ceramic, enamel, cast iron, stainless steel, carbon steel, or anodized aluminum are preferable to nonstick cookware, which may contain per and polyfluoroalkyl substances. Hunting, fishing, and foraging are enjoyed as hobbies by many people in New Hampshire. For some individuals, game meat, fish, and foraged items like mushrooms make up a large portion of the food they consume. For this reason, it's important to pay special attention to game meat. Some studies found that tiny bits of lead can end up in deer meat when people use lead bullets to hunt. These tiny bits are so small that you can't see, feel, or taste them. Other studies suggest that people who eat wild deer have more lead in their blood on average than those who don't. Lead is a harmful substance for humans, but the amount of lead that can make you sick depends on how old you are and how much lead you are exposed to in your environment. Unfortunately, lead can harm you even before you feel sick. Pregnant individuals and children under 6 years old are especially at risk from lead. It can cause problems with learning and behavior in young children. We don't know all the risks yet, but we do know that finding lead in deer meat is a concern. The New Hampshire Fish and Game Department has helpful tips for steps that hunters can take to reduce lead in game meat. Some game meat may also be high in PFAS, so it's worth keeping track of local advisories. When foraging, it's important to check with local experts to confirm safety. When foraging mushrooms, stick to the mushrooms indicated for beginners, which are less likely to look like another species that may be poisonous. The best practice is to check your identification against at least 2 sources, including an experienced collector if you are new to foraging. If you are unsure, it is best to err on the side of not picking the item in question. Check foraged items for worms, slugs, or bugs before picking, and forage away from roads that may be sprayed with fertilizers or pesticides. In the end, eating a varied diet goes a long way toward making safer choices with your diet. Making sure that no one item or food group makes up too large a proportion of the food that you eat on a regular basis will help to ensure that you are getting proper nutrition and avoiding chemicals in your diet. In this final section, we'll discuss ways to avoid harmful chemicals in consumer products. Cleaning products often contain a mix of components, including disinfectants, solvents, fragrances, and preservatives. Some of these ingredients can lead to various health-related concerns. Many of them fall into the category of endocrine-disrupting chemicals, which means they can interfere with the body's hormonal balance. Some cleaning product ingredients have been associated with health issues such as allergies, asthma, and even cancer. Unfortunately, cleaning products do not always disclose all their ingredients, making it challenging for consumers to understand what's inside each product they use. Chemical air fresheners, diffusers, and scented candles may also introduce endocrine-disrupting chemicals into the home through chemicals hidden in fragrances. To reduce these risks, a simpler and cost-effective alternative is to create your own cleaning solutions that are safe and efficient. Water, baking soda, vinegar, and Castile soap can be used in different combinations to make a wide range of simple and effective cleaning products in the home. Certain fragrance ingredients may cause allergic reactions, skin irritations, and asthma symptoms. Additionally, some of these compounds are endocrine disruptors. Notably, many of these fragrance ingredients lack thorough testing for their long-term impact on health. To safeguard your well-being, it's advisable to steer clear of products that simply list fragrance or perfume on their labels. Interestingly, even seemingly natural choices like lavender and tea tree oil have the potential to act as endocrine disruptors. Therefore, when utilizing products with fragrance, including those with essential oils, it's wise to use them sparingly to minimize potential risks. Both the US EPA and Environmental Working Group have created labels for cleaning products that indicate that these organizations have vetted the ingredients for safety. So choosing products with these labels is another option for reducing unwanted chemical exposures in the home. Personal care products represent a wide range of consumer products that are applied to the body, usually targeting a specific area such as skin, hair, nails, or lips, to clean, protect, or beautify these features. Items such as toiletries that assist with personal hygiene or cosmetic products used for personal grooming or aesthetic purposes are common types of personal care products that are used by many people each day. These products contain a wide range of endocrine-disrupting chemicals that interfere with the body's balance of hormones, such as sulfates, parabens, formaldehyde, chemical sunscreens, and fragrance, among others. Historically, women have used more personal care products than men, with a survey from Environmental Working Group suggesting that a typical woman uses about 12 personal care products each day, while men tend to use about 6. Some surveys suggest that the number of personal care products used each day by men has increased in recent years. Using fewer personal care products or making safer choices for products that contain fewer harmful ingredients will reduce the risk of exposure to harmful chemicals through these products. Reading labels is important to understand which products may contain questionable ingredients. However, products labeled as natural or clean may still contain chemicals of concern. Even if you carefully read labels, some chemicals, like phthalates, may be hidden under the umbrella of fragrance on product labels. This means that choosing fragrance-free options is often prudent. Databases managed by reputable organizations such as Environmental Working Group's Skin Deep Guide to Personal Care Products are very useful for learning both about the safety of specific products that you may use or common ingredients that are good to avoid. It may be helpful to focus first on products that have prolonged contact with your skin, such as moisturizers, deodorants, sunscreens, makeup, or cosmetics, as exposure is less likely to occur with products that are immediately washed off the skin, such as shampoo or body wash. Eliminating the use of personal care products with problematic ingredients helps to keep harmful chemicals out of the environment, as well as protecting our bodies. We have covered a lot of material today, so we'll take a few minutes to summarize the main take-home messages across these tips. There are many actions that you can take across the different domains in your life to limit your exposure to harmful chemicals. In your home, it is important to test for radon and to test your drinking water if you have a private water source. You can improve the air quality in your home by using HEPA air filters or DIY Corsi Rosenthal boxes. Remove lead from your home through appropriate abatement procedures. Remove shoes when entering your home and use wet mopping or dusting and a vacuum cleaner with a HEPA filter to keep dust levels low in your home. Choose fragrance-free and safer cleaning products when you tidy up your space. When it comes to your food, eating more home-cooked, whole food-based meals goes a long way to reducing chemical exposures in food. Avoid canned, packaged, and ultra-processed food whenever possible. Be a conscientious consumer of seafood and game meat. Choose stainless steel or glass food containers and avoid nonstick cook and bakeware when possible. Finally, keep unwanted chemicals off your body by reducing the number of personal care products that you use each day and choosing products with safer ingredients, including fragrance-free products. As a parting thought, I want to acknowledge that it is very easy to get overwhelmed when considering making all of these changes. So don't worry about doing this all at once. Consider which items are most important for you and your family according to your own values and health concerns. Know that making one or two changes can have a big impact. Testing your home for radon and your private well water are two of the biggest impact things that you can do. And you don't need to employ every suggested strategy all at once to reduce your exposure to environmental contaminants. Implement the strategies that work well for your home and family one at a time, and know that these new habits will add up to make a big difference over time. Today, I hope that you've learned strategies to improve the indoor air quality in your home, to test the safety of your drinking water and make safer food choices, and to avoid harmful chemicals in a range of consumer and personal care products. Thank you for your time and attention. I hope that you've enjoyed today's training and feel empowered to make changes that will reduce your exposure to harmful chemicals. We did our best to represent the biggest issues, but there's definitely a lot more to learn. So please see our additional resources for a deeper dive if you're interested. I want to close by thanking Karen Craver and Jonathan Patali, as well as my team here at Dartmouth, including Gayatri Srinivasan and Julia Bauer, for their advice on content and technical assistance throughout the creation of this training.